June 11th, 2022. Halfcast 310, episode 310. Let's go. Of course, I have a few things to share with you guys. An evening of reflection. Shall we? New Jersey cop convicted of leading group of officers to rob locals seeks new trial. I honestly do believe there are good police officers out there who join police forces and precincts to make a difference in their communities. The problem is it's hard to build an image, but it's very easy to destroy one. A Paterson police sergeant who was convicted 2 weeks ago of leading a gang of 5 other officers to illegally search, beat, and rob the people they swore an oath to protect is seeking a new trial. Sound like some good old boy gang shit. Michael Sheff's lawyers filed a motion in a Newark federal court on Thursday, arguing for a retrial on the basis that the guilty verdict was not supported by evidence presented in the trial, according to legal documents obtained by NorthJersey.com. The prosecution relied on the testimony of the 5 officers who worked under him: Matthew Torres, Jonathan Bustillos, Danielle Pent, Frank Toledo, and Yuri Ramos. If this article didn't lead off with the fact that these were police officers, I would assume that these were some extras cast in a Goodfellas film. Sheff was a supervisor for their patrol shift. They testified that between 2016 and 2018, Sheff participated in the robberies and served a key role of approving false reports, logging misleading evidence, and stymieing complaints against the officers. In one incident outlined by prosecutors, Sheff coerced a man to allow him to search his apartment. Once inside, he stole $2,700 in cash from the home. How long did he think he was going to get away with doing this to people? I mean, in the precinct, maybe it might take a little bit longer to ring a bell to raise a few red flags, but on the streets, word is going to spread about you immediately. The officers would target people in expensive cars or people leaving bodegas who might have just used an ATM. Paterson has large Black and Latino populations, and their robberies disproportionately affected people of color. A jury found Sheff guilty of conspiring to deprive individuals of civil rights under color of law and another count of falsifying a police report. He faces up to 30 years in prison. Not if he puts his service pistol in his mouth first. Sheff was arrested in 2020 after 24 years working for the department. Bye bye to the pension, also, dummy. He was suspended when the charges were first brought against him, but the department continued to pay him. I hope he tucked that money deep somewhere. The motion filed by his lawyers proposed the judge grant him 5 weeks to file briefs supporting a new trial. The other officers are scheduled to be sentenced on July 26th. Trust is hard to build, but it's very easily destroyed. And when police officers are targeting people in their own communities, that doesn't help at all. Florida wife scrolled dating app after fatally stabbing hubby. Uh, prosecutors allege. I mean, checking the phone usually comes before the homicide. You skip that part. You should go straight to cleanup after that. The Florida home, shared by Danielle and Michael Redlick, resembled a horror movie when police officers walked in the morning of January 12th, 2019, a prosecutor said Thursday. Inside, 65-year-old Michael lay dead in a pool of blood on the kitchen floor, flanked by blood-soaked towels, a mop, cleaning fluid, and a bucket of pinkish water, said Assistant State Attorney Sean Wiggins. He had been fatally stabbed in the shoulder by his wife of 15 years the night before. Now, jurors at Danielle Redlick's trial have been asked to decide: was the stabbing of Michael Redlick, a former NBA executive turned university employee, an act of murder or self defense? Lawyers gave their opening statements in the case Thursday morning in Orlando, where the trial is set to play out with a national audience. While disagreeing on the cause of Michael's stabbing, Danielle has pleaded not guilty, claiming self defense. Both Wiggins and Assistant Public Defender Catherine Conlon admit the Redlicks marriage was a unique one. What does that mean? That's because Michael, who was 20 years older than Danielle, was once her stepfather. Whoa! I can't top that. Fun show. Fun show. Fun show. Michael dated Danielle's mother, Kathleen Aquino, for 3 years and married her, Colon said, before she died of breast cancer just 3 months after saying I do. Soon after, Michael asked Danielle, who was 20, to move in with him. Oh, this is a creep move, man. To help him care for her 16-year-old sister that still lived with them. Danielle didn't immediately oblige, but the two became close, with Michael visiting her at work and the two attending concerts together. Conlon said he knew exactly what he was doing. In epic creep fashion, this guy was making the type of moves that just doesn't seem random at all. But those days of fun quickly turned sour after the two wedded. Gee, what a surprise. Conlon claimed the relationship became authoritative and abusive, deteriorating further after the couple had two babies together. I command you, as your father and your husband, to take that dress off and go upstairs to your room. And I better not hear any TV up there, honey. Michael drank heavily and was part of this is messed up what you want me to do, man. Michael drank heavily and was particularly aggressive in his later years from testosterone supplements, which he used to aid erectile dysfunction. Cohen said. This alleged aggression prompted Danielle to file for divorce in 2018, but a judge rejected her request because Michael was not properly served with divorce papers, court records said. Then 44, she stayed with her husband despite repeated attacks, Conlon said. I am not saying that murder was the answer, but you're living with a man who is drunk, miserable, and can't get it up. And despite your efforts to get away from him legally, you still have to wait a little bit longer to do it right. An arrest affidavit for Danielle hints that she may have shown some signs of aggression toward Michael herself. I would too, defend myself. Something Wiggins says prosecutors plan to focus on in court. Before Michael was killed, he joked to a friend that his wife is crazy, but as long as I hide the steak knives, everything will be fine. That was a low key cry for help, the document states. The friend told police that the couple briefly lived in separate houses, but Michael moved back into a $1 million lakefront Winter Park home with his wife about a month before the stabbing. The confidant said he called Michael that month and jokingly asked if he was willing to hide the knives. Oh, yeah, Michael replied, according to the friend. So, purely for entertainment purposes, let's say she can't get out of the divorce with this guy. They're not living together. So she proposes that they try to make up. Let's get back together. They move in together because she knows he's only going to get drunk and come at her one last time. And that's the time that she needs to kill his ass and make it look like self defense. And that's your lifetime special right there. Conlon argued Thursday that Michael's violence the night of the stabbing reached a new level, forcing her client to stab him in the shoulder in a struggle before running away. He pushes her down, Conlon explains. She goes to her knees. He pulls her up by the hair. He shoves her to the kitchen island. He chokes her. He smothers her. She reaches into her drawer. She grabs a knife. She stabs him one time. He is stunned. He releases her and she runs to the bathroom. Whoa. I wouldn't put it past any man that's willing to marry his own stepdaughter with what appeared to be a very brief grieving period for her mother. But prosecutors don't buy that story, largely because it wasn't the original explanation given by Danielle. Instead, she originally told a 911 operator she believed her husband had a heart attack. Yeah, his heart was attacked with a knife. She then claimed that Michael stabbed himself with the knife and bled out while she took cover in a bathroom the entire night. That does not sound legit at all. Conlon says her client now admits she stabbed her husband but didn't realize until next morning that she killed him. Wiggins said Thursday, however, that it would be impossible for Danielle to be unaware of her husband's death for 11 hours. He claims that phone activity shows she erased messages she exchanged with Michael and also used her phone to browse a dating app for a future suitor hours before she called police to the home. Oh, now it makes sense. She put herself down in December that she was looking for a long term relationship. Wiggins said this is the dating website that the defendant opens while her husband is laid out dead on the floor. And in all likelihood, she was just caught up in a horrible marriage, was mentally checked out, and couldn't find a way out immediately. And that's what she ran to. Doesn't look good for her. The cleaning supplies spread about the house also indicated Danielle was trying to hide something. Wiggins said he said the prosecution plans to introduce an expert who will describe how the scene was obliterated by Danielle, who also faces charges of evidence tampering. Despite the fact that she didn't go through the divorce, she was not interested in a life with Mr. Redlick. Wiggins said she wanted to be happy, and happiness for Mrs. Redlick was a life beyond Michael. The maximum punishment Danielle could face if convicted is life in prison. She tracked her boyfriend using an AirTag, then killed him, police say. Whatever these AirTags were meant to be used for, finding your keys or your phone or whatever you lose, your personal effects, they are not being used for that. In the early morning hours of June 3rd, Galen Morris drove up to an Indianapolis pub in a dark blue Chevrolet Impala. She allegedly told patrons that she suspected her boyfriend was cheating on her and that she had tracked him there using an Apple AirTag. That's a hell of a commercial. A device designed to help people locate personal belongings. Personal belongings should have definitely been written in quotes. She said it like if she could have put the device just under his skin like a bear, she would have did that. She asked them whether a man wearing dreads had been seen inside the bar. According to court records, witnesses told police that she soon found him. Oh no. After a heated confrontation with him and another woman, she allegedly clipped him with her car, according to a probable cause affidavit obtained by the Indianapolis Star and reviewed by the Washington Post. As he fell to the ground, she allegedly backed over him, pulled forward, and hit him again for a total of 3 times, the court record said. Way to commit. When police arrived, Andre Smith, 26, was pronounced dead at the scene, his body pinned beneath the vehicle, police said in a statement. Police said Morris, 26, was arrested and accused of murder. Arrest records show that she is being held without bond. It was not immediately clear Saturday whether Morris has an attorney. I'm pretty sure that using this device in a homicide will also be read to her in a list of her charges. Georgia police officer arrested after looking up ex-wife, ex-girlfriend in law enforcement database. After these last 2 articles, can you really blame them? A Greenville police officer was arrested by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation after using a law enforcement database to search for information about his ex wife and ex girlfriend, according to GBI Deputy Director Natalie Ammons. Rory Haynes, 54, was hired as an officer in August of 2019. According to the GBI, Haynes unlawfully used his in car computer to search for information about people, including his ex wife and ex girlfriend, around 45 times. What are you doing? I'm almost certain they would have been fine with him looking up something once or twice, but 45 times is like stalker type numbers. Haynes faces the following charges: computer invasion of privacy, one count of unauthorized request or disclosures of criminal history information, one count of violation of oath of office. Haynes has been booked into the Meriwether County Jail. Fun show. Fun show. Fun show. That being said, I'm going to wrap this one up, but I'll be sure to talk to you guys very, very soon. Adios.